Hello and welcome. We are honored to have the chance to speak with Dr. Brittany Weber. Dr. Weber is an assistant professor of medicine at Harvard Medical School and associate physician in prevention cardiology and cardiovascular imaging at Brigham and Women's Hospital, where she is the director of the Cardiorheumatology Clinic. Dr. Weber's research is broadly focused on translational research and systematic inflammatory conditions, harnessing advanced cardiovascular imaging and immunology. We are delighted to have Dr. Weber with us today to share her expertise and work in cardiology. How did you get your start in cardiology, and what made you to decide to choose this area of medicine?
Well, first, thank you to the American Heart Association on discussing this important topic and really the opportunity to really highlight my true passion today to you. So how did I get started in cardiology? Well, I actually started from the immune system. So I pursued the MD PhD program, got fascinated in the intersection between doing scientific research and taking care of patients, and pursued a PhD in immunology because I fell in love very early on with the immune system. And I went back to the clinics, and as I was doing all the clinical rotations, I really fell in love with the cardio rotations. In particular, I was really drawn to heart failure and heart transplant in the intersection of the immune system. And so kind of my decision to kind of go into cardiology was actually back in bare bones in medical school, where I was seeing the patients and I said, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to work to figure out how I can integrate my immunology passion in that.
How have you seen the field of cardiovascular disease evolve, particularly regarding the understanding of inflammation?
I could probably talk about this for half an hour, but I think in broad strokes, I think that, we are continuing, when we think about the immunology or even rheumatology, the study of the immune system we're learning more and more. And that is because the advancements of science, right? The advancements, when I was first doing, pipetting back at the age of 19, we could look at a few different, expressions on cells of the immune system. And now, we can do single cell sequencing. And so the advancements of the science has actually created such a overview of we're learning more and more about the immune system. So how have I seen this evolve? Well, I've seen us continue to evolve in our understanding of how precisely the immune system and inflammation is impacting the cardiovascular system. And it's much more broad spread than, of course, atherosclerosis is, clearly an inflammatory process. And that is something really important that we're incredibly focused on in terms of, the field moving forward. But we're also learning, as the field's evolving, all the roles inflammation is impacting and many, many things that we take care of as cardiology, such as heart failure, arrhythmias. I could go on. Of course, we know myocarditis, pericarditis. So I've seen the advancements within each of these, our understanding of how precisely the immune system is pathogenic. For anybody who's hoping to learn more about this topic, that we're going to have a learning studio session entitled Systemic Inflammation, Evaluating Potential New Targets in the Management of Chronic ASCVD and CKD. This is going to be taking place on the American Heart Association Scientific Sessions on Sunday, November 17th. It's going to be at 3:15 to 4. And we're going to have a very exciting session. I'll be specifically talking about the landscape of therapies that are being designed right now to target systemic inflammation. And I really encourage anybody who's interested in more about this topic to attend this.